God bless. Welcome back to Sunday service. I hope you guys had a great week. So first we're going to start off with worship, and here we go.
Comes away, every captive breaking free, right now, right now, right now. Darkness trembles, mountains shake, what was dead now comes away, every captive breaking free, right now, right now, right now. Open the heavens.
Hope you guys enjoyed worship just as much as I did. So now we're going to start with the lesson with Yamil. So here we go.
Hey everyone, God bless. I hope you had an awesome week. I know for some of you guys, this was probably your last week of school and you're excited. For some of you guys, you may have an extra week, depending, I guess, on the county or the state. I also want to congratulate those that are moving on to whether it's a different grade, whether it's a different school as well. Some of you guys are going from elementary school to middle school, from middle school to high school. And some of you guys, you know, are probably nervous and excited, and then I understand it's definitely a big step, you know, in your life, and just believe that God has everything under control, as he always does. So we're gonna go ahead and get into today's topic. Today's lesson, the title is going to be called Suddenly I See. I know in class, you guys know that I always ask you, what do you guys think that the lesson is going to be based off of from the topic? And you guys always share your thoughts with me. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. It's going to be called Suddenly I See, and the topic is about Paul. Paul becomes a believer. Now, in our story, you guys know that Paul later on becomes Saul. We're going to go ahead and read Acts 9:1-9. It's going to say, "Meanwhile, Saul was still breathing out murderous threats against the Lord's disciples. He went to the high priest and asked him for letters to the synagogues in Damascus, so that if he found any there who belonged to the way, whether men or women, he might take them as prisoners to Jerusalem. As he neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. He fell to the ground and heard a voice say to him, 'Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?' 'Who are you, Lord?' asked Saul. I am Jesus whom you are persecuting. He replied, now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do. The men traveling with Saul stood there speechless. They heard the sound but did not see anyone. Saul got up from the ground, but when he opened his eyes, he couldn't see anything. He was pretty much blind. So they led him by the hand into Damascus. For 3 days he was blind and did not eat or drink anything. Now, I know some of you guys are probably thinking, wow, that's scary, to not be able to see for 3 days, to not be able to eat or drink. It's definitely a point in his life that he had to go through in order for God to work in him and for God to speak to him. So here we see Saul on his journey to Damascus was to be able to persecute anyone who followed in Jesus's footsteps, because he wasn't okay with it. He didn't like it. So he just felt like in his heart and his mind, that was what needed to be done. So on his journey, we see in verse 3 how a light from heaven flashed around him. And he fell to the ground and heard a voice ask Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? And in return, he asked, Lord, who are you? So we're going to go ahead and jot that down as our bullet point, because you guys know I always have bullet points. That's going to be our verse 3. These are important verses that we're going to go ahead and write down, whether you guys have a notepad or on your phone or so forth. Verse 5, it says, we see that his voice, or that voice, belonged to Jesus, the one that was talking to him. Now, nobody could see, but he knew that it was Jesus. After having spoke to Saul, Jesus gave him instructions to go to the city. The men that were with him, again, they were speechless because they can hear what was going on, but they didn't see who was there. So Saul then got up from the ground, but to only find himself not being able to see. This went on for 3 days where he didn't eat or drink anything. So we see here in Saul's journey, a lot has gone on. Like he probably thought that he was going to be able to make it to where he had to go perfectly safe and sound, still being able to see and being able to eat, and drink. He didn't expect any of this to happen. But again, God had other plans. So we see here Saul's journey didn't go as he planned. Why? Because Jesus intervened in his plan so that he may reveal himself to him. After having experienced the things that he did, Saul's life was changed later on in the story. His sight was regained and he too became a believer. So I want you guys to take a moment. I know this is a pretty quick lesson, but it's definitely pretty straightforward. Also, we see how this was a man who had really bad intentions in the beginning on his journey, but God switched it around by making him open his eyes, but at the same time taking his sight from being able to see, from not being able to eat or to drink. And now he's thinking like, oh my gosh, like this is really Jesus. This is who people are talking about. And he actually got to experience that encounter himself. So I want you guys to jot down this key question. This is something to think about. How does God get your attention? I know you guys are probably thinking, like there's so many different ways that God can get our attention. He can get your attention maybe through like a song, or through a family member, or through, just a friend or so forth. I know definitely God has gotten my attention before through some songs. It's definitely touched my heart. And I'm just thinking in that moment, like, wow, God, like I'm listening, like you're speaking, and I know that you're trying to tell me something. So maybe you guys have gone through that, and it's an awesome feeling. It's definitely God always wants to talk to us, always wants to reach out to us. And even sometimes when our focus is not on him, he'll always try to get us to focus back on him. He'll always try to get our attention some way, somehow, whether it's through good things that happen in our life or whether it's through bad things that happen in our life. I think we all know that. But he's always a good God regardless. So our memory verse, you guys know we always have our memory verses. And these memory verses are something that you guys have to remember every month, because we do go over them. So it's going to be, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. And I'm going to go ahead and say it in Spanish. Es pues la fe, la certeza de lo que se espera, la convicción de lo que no se ve. So again, I can say that one more time for you guys, just so you guys can have it in your mind. It's now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Es pues la fe, la certeza de lo que se espera, la convicción de lo que no se ve. So I hope you guys definitely enjoyed that lesson. It was definitely short and sweet, right to the point. As far as suddenly I see, and again, where Paul becomes a believer. I know there's so many crazy stories in the Bible as far as how people become a believer and how God has encountered them, or they've encountered God. And everybody has a story, and it's always interesting to hear everyone's side. You guys could definitely continue to read the full story if you'd like. Definitely continue to read the chapter. By all means, it's a very interesting story. And ask mom, dad, or anybody that's around you for questions as well, being though I'm not there physically to answer these, or if you guys have any questions, but definitely write them down. Maybe when we're back in the church, I'll be able to answer them for you. So I hope you guys have an awesome week ahead. Summer's approaching. It's an awesome time, even though with everything that's going on. I hope you guys can find a way to continue to stay active, continue to just enjoy yourselves to the best that you can, and praying to God that we'll see each other very soon. God bless.
Thank you so much, Yamil, for the lesson. Hopefully you guys learned as much as I did. So we're gonna start off with the activity with Ever. Here we go.
Hey everyone, it's me, Hermano Ever. I'm so glad to see all of you. As you know, this month's theme is focus. Today I have brought an activity to see if you can focus. I hope you have fun, and let's see if you can focus. Welcome back. Did you like the activity? Did you find out the differences? Well, this was really fun. I hope that you had a wonderful time and that you have started to enjoy your summer. Bye!
Thank you, Ever, for the activity. It was really fun. If you guys can please comment down below, focus. That'll be awesome. Have a great week and hope this week is full of blessings. Goodbye.
Gracias niños por haber visto este video. Espero que hayan disfrutado mucho de la lección y que hayan aprendido el versículo bíblico y adorado a Dios. Ahora recuerden que ustedes pueden darle like a este video. Dígale a su mami o a su papi que le apriete ahí un botoncito donde dice me gusta, like. Y también que puede suscribirse. And your dad or mom can subscribe, okay? They can click that button. Pero ahora quiero que ustedes le hagan así porque les mando un abrazo muy fuerte y que Dios los bendiga, los guarde y los cuide y nos vemos la próxima semana. Bendiciones.